welcome to Finale Week. Greetings everyone, welcome to the Ride Back Finale Week. Why am I calling it that? Is because we have got a lot of shows that had their season, and one unfortunately that had its series finale. In fact, the series finale actually, I think it's for that one takes place today. No more episodes after this, so that is very, very sad and unfortunate. But for this one, we've got, like I mentioned, it's going to be finale week. I'm going to have a new episode of the Ride Back every day this week about season finales that came out in recent weeks. I've been kind of putting this off, trying to get around to finishing Superhero Critic episodes, and I got another one that should be also out today. So I've got 3 different videos coming out just today, this being probably number 2 of 3. But what am I talking about today? And that would be the season finale to Arrow, Season 6. Okay, so I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past, but Arrow has been losing me for quite a while now. And this one is no exception, this season finale. Alright, so let's go back to the beginning of Season 6. The beginning of Season 6 really dealt with the FBI investigating Oliver Queen for being the Green Arrow. And that is something that has persisted throughout the entirety of this season. That hasn't changed at all. They've been constantly trying to hunt him down and trying to pin being the Green Arrow on him. You have like your beginning and then your mid-season finale and then your season finale. Well, with this one, it dealt with a group of criminals, including Anatoly, a Russian contact he had in a previous season, and as well as Kitty and James, who was the guy that Felicity let out of a confinement or something with the Hive's help, and then him and let's see, I can't remember all their names, but Kitty and James, Anatoly, I want to say 2 others. Oh, Black Siren was back, she was one of them. And then another person, and then Ricardo Diaz, who will be more prominent in the later episodes. So, with this, so during the mid-season, throughout the entirety of the season, what they, like I said, they kept trying to pin, he's been in and out of court all the time. Trying to disprove that he's the Green Arrow. And there are 2 I think they do this 3 different times throughout the season. One is that they have John Diggle running around as the Green Arrow. He basically passes the mantle on to John Diggle. And they're like, okay, well, this isn't him. Then they get like photographic evidence, doctored photographic evidence, mind you, but photographic evidence nonetheless. And then Roy Harper comes back, who played Red Arrow or Arsenal, and he took the blame as being the Green Arrow. Then that didn't work, and then someone else tried to. It came back again, and this time a guy who apparently can shapeshift, or no, not shapeshift. He can disguise himself in sound. He's like a good. He pretends to be another person. I can't remember his name. But he pretended to be Tommy Merlin, and there's no way that's true because I'm pretty sure Tommy Merlin died really early on in earlier seasons. So that goes by over and over and over again, and that was in the second half of the season. In the beginning, in the first half of the season, they actually did defeat Kitty and James because, Kitty and James wanted to kill the Green Arrow because he thought the Green Arrow killed his son, which isn't true. And even right now, I'm kind of blanking on who actually did it. I think it was the 5th guy out of that group that I mentioned, although I just can't remember his name. Obviously, it didn't stick out that much in my mind. But Kitty James like holds the entire city hostage while Oliver Queen is the mayor, and he like demands like a ransom amount of millions of dollars, which they said that they weren't going to give, but they ended up having to give it to him. Eventually, they did stop his plan, and Kitty and James ends up getting killed, and then that group kind of breaks up. That villain super group. They're just criminals, really. So all that is going on, and meanwhile, I wouldn't call it more interesting, but it is, I guess, interesting, is the dynamic of Team Arrow, which I hate. I hate Team Arrow. Team Arrow, to me, is such a waste of time. I want to watch... It's kind of like watching Batman. You don't want to watch Batman and, like, a team of other superheroes, like the Bat Family. I don't want to see Batman, Nightwing, Robin, Batwoman, Batgirl. I don't want to see all of that. I don't want to see all of them together. All I really care about is watching Batman do his thing. And this is the same thing for Green Arrow. I don't want to see Mr. Terrific and what was it? The new Black Canary, or who's that last one? Wild Dog? Wild Dog, I think that's his name. I don't want to see all these people. I don't care. It was acceptable to me when he had Speedy, or he had Arsenal. And John Diggle, who plays Spartan, by the way. Let's not forget about him, shall we? Of all of Team Arrow. I just don't like Team Arrow. It's the secondary characters that I don't think anyone really even knew or cared about, and I don't think they care about them now. Anyway, rant over about Team Arrow. Basically what happens is that he pushes Team Arrow further and further away. John Diggle, John Diggle, as Spartan, stays with him for a little longer. Of course, so does Felicity. They get married, I think, during this season as well. Did they? Yeah, they get married during this season. Which is like such an afterthought, it doesn't even really matter. But he pushes Wild Dog, Mr. Terrific, and the other Black Canary away, and they go off and basically do their own team. And I'm like, oh good, I don't have to even think about these other people. No, they still show up throughout the entirety of the season. And Spartan stays on with Green Arrow. Then Green Arrow pushes him away because originally Oliver was going to give up the hood. He was going to give up being Green Arrow to keep himself as a low profile away from the feds. But he ended up not being able to do that. He had to go back to it, which I was like, good. But John Diggle took over the Green Arrow mantle for a little while, and then it was like, okay, I'm back, and now you have to go back to being Spartan. He didn't like that. He didn't like the fact that he had to go back to being Spartan. So then he left, and he went on to join up his wife, who's the leader of Argus. So he's working with Argus now. And then finally, after they all split, they decided they had to come back together to fight in the second half, which was Ricardo Diaz. Now, Ricardo Diaz is honestly, to me, just another criminal. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's like Arrow, really. He's like the Green Arrow. But he basically has corrupted the city. He's got a lot of people in his pocket in the city, and then there you go. I mean, that's the whole plot, is that they have to oust him and they have to take him down. So here we are at the season finale, and what all happens? Well, they managed to, with the help of Anatoly and Black Siren, who I guess is going to become the new Black Canary, but that doesn't seem possible because they already have one. They decide to he's too dangerous, so they take him down. They don't even kill him. One of the last scenes is like Black Siren had knocked him off of, dadgummit, it's so loud, the rumble. Black Siren knocked him off of the Hold on, I'm just going to wait until I get back on smoother road. Which I guess is not going to happen. So the Black Siren knocks Ricardo Diaz off the roof. He survives. But more importantly, what does happen is that Quentin Lance protects Black Siren, basically sacrificing himself. There we go. That's nice and smooth. Basically sacrificing himself in order to save his alternate Earth daughter. So he died. So we lost Quentin Lance during this season, which was sad because I liked Quentin Lance. But the more important thing was the only way they could do all this is that if they use the FBI to help them take down Diaz. So Oliver Queen basically says, okay, I'm going to turn myself in to the feds as Green Arrow if you give all my other partners immunity, which they did, which I can't imagine anyone actually agreeing to that, because it basically means there's still vigilantes out there. Anyway, they lock him up in a supermax, and that's how the season ends. So what did I ultimately think of season 6? They're so on their paces at this point. I really am shocked that Arrow is continuing at this stage. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want there to be a reduction in superhero-related shows. I know I love all superhero-related shows. I just like some more than others. And Arrow is one that even I can see. I can't imagine sticking around. You know, I feel like they're running out of ideas. Like, what else is he gonna fight? The coolest season was when he was fighting Slade and fighting Malcolm Merlyn. Those were the coolest seasons. You know, and then there was the whole thing with the League of Shadows, which was okay, but then we're coming back to fighting just gangster criminals, and it's like, whatever, you know. I don't really like, can we go a little bit more? I mean, it doesn't have to be like global scale, but you know. The Crisis on Earth X episode was pretty good. The crossover episode where they were beating up Nazis, that was always good. I like that. But I can talk about that in the other episodes as well.